We're talking about mixing tints and shades. So who can tell me what is a tint?
Like the thing you sleep in.
It is a thing you sleep in, but it's also a light color. So it can be a little bit confusing because a lot of times when we think of a tint, we think of tinted windows, which are dark, right? But a tint in art is a light color. So how would I make a tint of red?
You use a lot of water in the red.
That is good for watercolor. Yep, that's a really good way to do it. What would be another way? Add white with it, that's right. So we can make tints of a color by adding white to them. And a shade is the opposite of a tint. So what does that mean? It's darker, right? So how would we make a darker version of red? Add black, right. So what I'm going to show you today, last period I already did the red value scale. So we start with white and then it gets darker and then that's the pure color and it gets really dark to black. So we're going to do the same thing in this demonstration but with blue. So when you get started, what you're going to need is water. This one's dirty because I used it last period, but you want to get a container and fill it up about halfway. You want to get a paintbrush that's a good size. You're going to have paint, which I've already put out on palettes for you guys to use, and you'll need a paper towel to dry off your brush. So before you even start mixing any colors, I want you to take the pure color, so I'm just going to get blue, and it goes in the middle of the value scale because that's the most medium value, blue by itself without any white or any black. Got a little bit too much paint on my brush, so I'm making a mess. But you're going to try it just like when we did the color wheel. You're trying to stay neat and fill it in inside the lines. Now, still, before you start mixing any colors, we're going to wash out our brush. And then we're going to fill in the very first square. Jeremiah. We're going to fill in the very first square with white. Now, I know the paper is already white, but I do want you to actually use the white paint and fill in the first square on this value scale because we're going from light to dark. Okay, I'm going to wash it out. And then I'm going to get some black on my brush, just a little bit, because when I did blue, I got too much and I made a mess. So black, and I'm going to fill in the very last one with pure black. All right, now we're going to work from the middle and we're going to work our way out. So here we're going to get progressively lighter and then here we're going to get darker. So to start, I'm going to take blue and I'm going to pull it off to the side just like when we mixed our secondary and tertiary colors in the color wheel. I'm going to pull it off to the side and I'm going to take some white and mix that in with the blue over here. Now, between white and blue, which one do you think is the weaker color? Definitely white. So you'd have to mix more white in with the blue to make a difference. It's going to take a good bit of white for you to start to be able to tell that it looks lighter. So that is lighter than pure blue, right? All right, so we would paint that here. So we can see a definite difference on the paper between the pure blue in the middle and this has some white in it. Now we're going to make one that's even lighter, which means that we need to add what to this? More white. So I'm going to get more white, and I'm not even going to mix it in with all of the blue because remember the white is so weak. I'm just going to mix it in with this little corner to get a really light blue. Still get more white. What do you guys think? Is that different enough from this?
Yeah.
Let's see what it looks like on white paper. You think so? Okay. So I'm going to take that and paint it here. And I agree that ended up pretty good. If it would focus, come on. There we go. So we can see a difference from here to here to here. So it's white, really light, medium light, and pure. Now we need to mix our shades. These are tints. Now we need to mix our shades. So I'm going to wash out my brush. And I'm going to take black. Just a little bit, because between black and blue, which one is the stronger color? Black, right. Guys, there's no reason you should just be looking down at the floor. That means that you're on your phone, and I don't want to see you on your phones. So I'm going to get just a little bit of black on my brush, and I'm going to mix it in with the blue. Now, remember when we used the purple, or when we were mixing purple, it was really hard to tell what it looked like on the palette, and that's when we had to test it. We're probably gonna have to do the same thing when we mix the black with the red and when we mix the black with the blue.
Wait, why are we mixing, like, why wouldn't we do white and black?
That's a really good question. If you mix white and black together, just by themselves, what does that make?
Gray.
Gray. So if you mix white and black with blue, that's actually called a tone, not a tint or a shade. So we wanna just stick with the pure tints and shades.
So we're just gonna put blue with the black?
Yes, ma'am, that's right. So we just mix the black in over here. You guys think that that's a good step, or do you think it's too light or too dark?
Maybe a little bit, no, that's good.
I think it's pretty good. I agree. So I'm gonna take what I have here and I would paint it in this section. And now I need to add even more black to make a really, really dark blue, almost black. I think I still probably need a little more black because those look really similar. Good. So you can see it goes from light to dark, and each color looks different than the next. None of them blend together or look exactly the same. When you're finished, again, you're going to fill these in completely. Remember, just like the demonstration I did before, I didn't fill them in completely just to save us some time that you wouldn't have to watch me do that, but you need to fill them in solid all the way. Then you're going to take a picture and turn this in on canvas, okay? Nope, you're doing both. I just only did one for the demonstration because it's the same steps. You are going to get a palette of paint from over there, and there's one that already has your name on it. I've written your name in Sharpie on the palette, so pick up the one that has your name on it, and you're going to keep that for the rest of the semester. So today at the end of class, you'll wash it and then put it on your shelf, and you'll keep it. And then I have these good paintbrushes I'm going to pass out to you. When you're finished with them, you bring them back to me. So get your paint, get your water, get your paper towel, and then I'll bring the rest of your stuff to you.